Meet Colonel Kent Lester, an Army colonel who retired and became a public school social studies teacher. Lester is a proven leader who has pledged to leave no one behind. Kent's father was an Army officer, and therefore, Kent grew up with the world as his playground as his father moved from post to post.
My parents were older when I was born. They'd been told that they couldn't have kids, so they were 39 and 40 years old. And at the time, my dad was stationed at the Pentagon, and he was out on TDY, temporary travel, and he got a telegram actually from the Pentagon saying that his wife was pregnant.
While Kent's father loved his service, he also stayed in for the health care that Kent's mother Libby required that wasn't available to the family in the civilian world.
She was 40 years old and had a very problematic pregnancy, and she spent a lot of time before, during, and after in the hospital, many years in the hospital. I know in the back of my mind that we would have been bankrupt and not had the quality of life that we had if we had been in the civilian world uninsured.
Something about his father's service and dedication stuck in young Kent, and he chose to accept his appointment to the United States Military Academy at West Point.
I was nominated and accepted under the vice presidential program. It's a little bit unusual. It's primarily limited for the top students in the nation that their parents were on active duty or served in the military.
Kent's future wife, Bridget, was part of that same first grueling co-ed class at West Point, breaking the glass ceiling and excelling where others were told no.
When I was a senior in high school, I applied to various schools across the country, and MIT was probably my first choice. And then in October of my senior year, President Ford signed the bill allowing women into the academy. And that just seemed like an extraordinary opportunity.
The thing that I found most different or most unique about the academies is they tell you right from the front that right from the beginning that they're looking at leadership. And we wanted to go into one of these positions where we were entrusted with responsibility from an early age.
Like his father, Kent went where the Army sent him across Europe, Asia, and South America. He learned to lead men and women, how to prepare for and engage in battle, and most importantly, how to execute and deliver when needed or asked.
Well, my overall career was just slightly over 20 years. We did give some thought about staying in longer and having even, rising in the ranks even farther, but for family reasons, we decided to get out and come back to Central Texas. We had been stationed all over the United States. In Central America, I spent several years in Panama and working with El Salvador and Colombia and Guatemala.
Kent and Bridget retired from the Army, both as lieutenant colonels. They made Central Texas their permanent home. Kent rededicated himself to our state, country, and collective future as an award-winning classroom teacher of social studies at Belton High School.
I just like teaching. I like kids. I felt like I would be making more of a difference and that I would like it every day.
Kent chose to be a teacher. After the military, he could very well have taken his military retirement and just stayed here. But there are not a lot of good male role models in public education. And so he deliberately chose to take on a give-back kind of position to become a teacher.
I learned probably as much from them as they did from me. And you also realize that the actual individual subject matter material is less important than what they come out as at the other end as a person. So whether or not they remember exactly something from my class on a specific test is not as important as do they come out caring about other people, being informed, knowing the issues, wanting to learn and make informed decisions rather than just doing what someone else tells them to do. I've stayed in touch with them and they've contacted me. We had several students who were the ones who even got me involved in this after this last election cycle and said, hey, this is not how it's supposed to be. When we studied social studies with you and government and civics and economics, I had always told them, hey, whenever down the road you get a chance, give back, help people, find your cause, and it'll either be time or money or energy, and whatever it is, get involved. And they kind of got me and said, hey, you said to do that, you should do it yourself.
Kent Lester, Democrat for Congress. He'll bring his Texas values, his Army attitude, and his educator's heart to Washington to represent us.